Namaste and welcome back to today's episode of Mahabharata Matters. In the previous episode, we saw that 2 days of war had been completed. Both armies had seen a lot of losses. Duryōdhana had accused Bhishma of being biased towards the Pandavas. The third day of war was announced with drums and kettles beating and the conches blowing. Bhishma had arranged the Kaurava army in a Garuda Vyuha, in a form of an eagle. The Pandavas in response arranged themselves in an Ardhendu Vyuha like a crescent moon. The war started. Fierce duels broke out all across the battlefield. Abhimanyu and Satyaki had faced Shakuni. Bhima had come face to face to Duryōdhana. He had made him faint in his chariot. Duryōdhana came back to the battlefield after gaining consciousness. He saw that Bhima's son Ghatotkacha was breaking all hell loose. He was fighting more ferociously than his father. The Pandava army was wreaking havoc in the Kaurava camp. Once again, Duryōdhana went back to Bhishma. He started saying, "You are being too soft on the Pandavas because you like them more. You are not doing justice as the Senapati, commander-in-chief of my army. I wish my friend Radheya were here instead of you." These words stung Bhishma more fiercely than arrows in his heart. He, in his rage, started ripping through the army of the Pandavas. Arjuna came there to the rescue of his army. Arjuna was fighting with his grandfather all right, but he was getting battered by the grand old man very easily. He was killing the Pandava soldiers like never before. Arjuna had to come to the rescue of his army. Arjuna was fighting all right, but he was getting pounded by the grand old man. Krishna had to remind him to fight more fiercely. Yet, Arjuna was going easy on his grandfather. This angered Krishna very much. He instantly jumped off from his seat and picked up the wheel of a broken chariot. With that raised as a weapon, he started running towards Bhishma to slay him. Seeing this, Bhishma smiled with excitement. He invited Krishna and said, "Come Krishna, please slay me. I would happily die at your hands and please release me from the bondage of this life," he said. Arjuna was alarmed to see this. He could not allow his dear friend Krishna to break his vow. He could not let him use the wheel as a weapon as he had vowed to not lift a weapon in the battlefield. He fell at Krishna's feet and pleaded him to drop the wheel. Arjuna had understood his folly. He told Krishna that he would fight more harder. Arjuna pacified Krishna with great effort and he dropped the wheel finally. Both of them went back to the chariot and started blowing their conches with renewed vigor. Arjuna started fighting very fiercely. He became unstoppable. But the sun was setting in the horizon. The war had been called off for the day. The fourth day of the battle had started with renewed vigor. Abhimanyu was bearing down fiercely today. He was on a rampage all over the battlefield. He was killing elephants, horses, breaking chariots of the Kaurava army. He was everywhere on the battlefield. During their fight, both Bhishma and Arjuna caught a glimpse of this very young warrior. They were overcome with pride for his valor. He was as valiant as his father. In another part of the battlefield, Bhima had come face to face with one of Duryōdhana's brothers. He killed him with his mace and said 99 more to go. He was counting down all the 100 brothers of Duryōdhana and was going to slay them. Later that day, he had slain 7 more brothers of Duryōdhana. He had killed 8 of Duryōdhana's brothers on that day. Alambusha came to fight with Bhima. Alambusha was a Rakshasa. He was the brother of Bakasura and Kirmira, both of whom Bhima had killed before. He was furious with Bhima for the death of his brothers. They both fought very fiercely. On another part of the battlefield, Bhima's son Ghatotkacha was wreaking havoc on the Kaurava army. Being a Rakshasa, as the day was coming to an end, his power was growing more. He was flowing through the Kaurava army as if it was a field of corn. The Kaurava army called off the war even before sunset to stop the rampage of Ghatotkacha. Duryōdhana was very sad. 8 of his brothers were killed on the same day. He went to Bhishma and asked him, "Why are these Pandavas so invincible?" Bhishma smiled again. He said, "Duryōdhana, they have dharma on their side. That is why they have Krishna on their side. When Krishna is on their side, they are absolutely invincible. Even now, it is not too late. Call off the war. Even now, you can save everyone else by reconciling with Yudhishthira, he said. Duryōdhana walked away from Bhishma without saying anything. He would die, but would never swallow his pride and reconcile with Yudhishthira. So, what are our takeaways from this story? Krishna broke his vow of not picking up any weapons. He did not care for his vow as much as the dharma of his devotee. Arjuna was being lenient on Bhishma. He needed to be woken up. So, to make him alert, Krishna was ready to break his own promise. The dharma of his devotee was above his own vow. Also, in a way, it was a demonstration to Bhishma Pitamaha. It would have probably been better if he broke his personal vow in exchange for keeping up dharma. He should have probably chastised Duryōdhana when he tried to burn them in the Lakh Palace. He should have stopped Duryōdhana at the game of dice. He should have punished Duryōdhana when he was trying to disrobe Draupadi. He should have, he could have. It is too late to speculate what could have happened if Bhishma had decided to break his vow and uphold dharma. Also, one of the adaptations says that Bhishma had resolved to make Krishna pick up a weapon in the battlefield. Bhishma dearly loved Krishna, so Krishna would rather uphold his devotee's words as against his own. With these thoughts, we come to the end of today's episode. Remember, in this series we are discussing matters of Mahabharata because even today, Mahabharata matters. Hari Om!